In this episode, we are going to learn how to install ImageMagick on Nginx server, basically on our Homestead installation here, but you can obviously install this on any other Nginx server, plus the ImageMagick, which is a native PHP extension that allows you to create and modify images using ImageMagick API. Okay, to start with, the first thing I'm going to do, if you followed from the previous video, you probably have Homestead running. I rebooted the computer, so I'm going to start it again. So Homestead up, and then we wait for the box to boot. As you can see, it tells me there is a newer version of Laravel Homestead. I've got the version 0.4.1. There's a 0.4.2, and in order for me to update, what I need to run is this Vagrant box update. What I can also do, obviously, is use Homestead box update, because as you may remember from the previous episode, we created this alias Homestead, which allows us to call any Homestead related Vagrant commands from any directory within our file system. So what I'm going to do now that the box has booted up, what I'm going to do is clear the screen, Command K, and what I'm going to do is to call Homestead box update. And now we are going to wait, as you can see, what we have here, latest version, latest installed version 4.1, version constraints, and there we go, updating Laravel Homestead with provider VirtualBox from version 0.4.1 to 0.4.2. That will take a little while, so I'm going to pause this video until this is finished, and then we're going to catch up from there. So the box has updated successfully. We are now running 0.4.2 version. Obviously, at the time of this recording, that's the latest version. You might be seeing completely different versions, obviously, when you're going to be watching this video. So obviously update to whatever the latest version is going to be by just using this Homestead box update, or simply Vagrant box update. Okay, I'm going to clear the screen again, so Command K on my keyboard. Next thing I'm going to do is to actually SSH to a Homestead. And to do this, I'm going to use the command Homestead SSH and hit return. And what this does, basically, it will use the previously generated SSH key to connect to the Homestead via SSH connection, secure shell, in other words. And as you can see, I'm now connected. If I do ls to see the directories, you can see the code that where we obviously store our files. This is basically a mirror of our local copy. Then we go cd code, ls, and we can see all these directories we've created earlier. Okay, but that's not why we're here. What we want to do is obviously install ImageMagick. And the first thing we need to do is to make sure that we're actually running all these commands that we're going to be executing as a super user, sudo, in other words, often represented by root or administrator. Okay, so in order to do this, what we need to do within Homestead is to run the command sudo space -s and hit return. And there we go. As you can see at the beginning, rather than Vagrant, now we have root. So we're running all these commands as root user. The first thing we need to do is to update, basically download the latest list of all the packages from the repository. So what I'm going to do is to run the command apt-get and then space update, hit return, and this will take a short while. As you can see, it gets different packages from the repositories. What we are going to do next, once all this has finished, I'm going to clear the screen, Command K. As you can see, a few packages failed here, but that doesn't really matter. I'm just going to hit Command K. And what I'm going to do next is type apt again, -get install, and then space ImageMagick, and hit return. And this is going to download the ImageMagick and install it. When we are prompt, we simply hit Y on our keyboard and return, and that's going to continue with the installation. And that's done. ImageMagick should now be installed. And we can check it by calling one of the ImageMagick's command line tools. One of them is called convert, so if we just type convert and hit return, and there we go, you can see there's quite a bit of information. So obviously that worked, and as you can see right after the comment that once I've hit return, it tells us that it's a version of ImageMagick 67710. And obviously you've got all these settings, options, and so on. So I'm going to clear the screen again, Command K. The next thing we're going to be looking at is the installation of iMagick. iMagick is a native PHP extension which uses ImageMagick's API to create and modify images. It can be installed using PECL repository for PHP extensions. Let's quickly open the browser. I'm just going to use Chrome here. And what we're going to do is navigate to php.net. Hit return, and in the search bar let's look for iMagick CK. There we go, and you've got classes iMagick. So this is basically what we will be able to use once we've installed this specific extension. Before we'll be able to install iMagick, we need to install another native PHP extension to ImageMagick called MagickWand. And to install it, let's quickly go to our terminal and type in apt-get install. We're going to start with the package-config, pkg-config, and then lib-magick-wand, the -dev, and then let's put the flag -y to make sure that if there's any prompt to confirm whether we want to proceed or not, this is automatically done. Libmagick1, just make sure that you type everything correctly and hit return, and there we go. That's going to install it all. Okay, so now package config and MagickWand have been installed. We can clear the screen, so Command K on the keyboard, and we can begin installing iMagick. So cd/tmp, we're going to a temporary directory. This is where we're going to be working from. Again, Command K, and let's first download the iMagick package. To do this, we are going to go to PECL. PECL.php.net. There we go. And here we are going to click on Browse All Packages. And inside of the search box, we are going to type iMagick. There we go. And hit return. And there you go. You've got search results. There's just one package. The link is highlighted here, so we just click on that link, and there are many different releases here, obviously depending on which version you want to install. I'm going to go for the latest one, which happened to be a stable as well. Right click on this link within this available releases column, and we are going to copy link address. Now back to the terminal, and the next thing I'm going to do is use the widget program here to download the file to this temporary directory. So paste the path which we just copied, hit return, and that will download the file. We clear the screen again, ls to see all the files, and as you can see, we've got this iMagick here. What we are going to do next is decompress the file, unpack it. So tar space xvzf, and then iMagick, hit return. That should now decompress the files. So ls, as you can see, we have this directory here with all the files. Okay, so we are going to dive into this directory, cd imagick340. Now we are inside of this directory. Next thing we are going to do is use phpize command to prepare the build environment for this PHP extension, and hit return. There we go, that's prepared. Command K to clear the screen again. Now we are going to configure the package, so /configure, and there we go. We are waiting for this to finish. That's all done. Clear screen, Command K, and the next thing we are going to install this package. So make install, hit return, and there we go. And this iMagick extension is now being installed. Okay, so that's done. Clearing the screen again. The next thing we are going to do is to remove all these files because we don't need them anymore. So what I'm going to do is use the command rm for removing. -rf, we want to remove recursively, and we don't want any prompts while this is happening. And then the directories basically, and the files and directories that we want to remove are within this tmp directory. And then we have, they all are starting with imagick-340, and let's put the star symbol wild character at the end to make sure that the compressed file which you've downloaded plus the directory with all the files, they all removed. So if we hit return, and that's now done, so we are technically within the directory which does not exist. Let's go back to the tmp directory. If we do ls, you can see all this has been removed now. The next thing we need to do is to add these extensions to the php ini file. And our php ini, we need to add it to two different php ini files, one for the command line, the other one for all the HTTP requests, which are within the fpm directory. So let's just navigate to one of these directories first. I'm going to go to cd/etc, then php, then /70/ and let's just go to this directory first. So we navigate to this directory, do ls to list all the directories, and one of the php ini files is inside of this CLI directory for command line interface, and fpm, which is for HTTP requests. Okay, so what we're going to do next is navigate first to the CLI directory, so cd CLI ls, and we have this php ini file here. As you can see, what we want to do is to use echo statement to put the following: extension equals imagick.so, to append it basically to the end of the php ini file. So basically we're using this echo statement, which takes this argument and puts all this, appends it with these two right angle brackets to the end of this php ini file. So if I hit return now, and what we are going to do next is use grep program to check the line on which this specific line is basically present inside of this php ini file. So grep with the flag n because we want to find the line, and in between a single quotes, I'm just going to copy this extension equals imagick.is.so, and the file we want to look for within is this php ini. So hit return, and it tells me it's on line 1873. So let's quickly use nano editor. Then with a plus symbol indicating which line we want to open this file on 1873, and the file name is php ini. Hit return. As you can see, this has been successfully appended to the end of this file. Okay, so Control X to exit this file. I'm going to copy this entire line because now we are going to go to the other directory. So cd, we're going up one directory, so to full stops, then /, and we want to go straight to this fpm directory. Hit return. So now we're inside of this fpm directory, and ls, you can see we have this php ini here as well. So what I need to do now is basically use the same command, so just space command v, hit return, and that will also be appended to the end of this file. I'm just going to use arrow here on the keyboard to check, to basically go back a few commands, and this is the one I want to use again, is grep and to check that obviously this has also been appended to this file, and it did. So the next thing we need to do is to restart PHP and then Nginx server. So service, there we go, PHP 7.0-fpm restart. There we go, hit return, and that's restarted it. Next, we're going for service Nginx restart as well, and that's also been done. So we can now clear the screen, Command K. Let's go to the temporary directory again, so cd tmp. And what I'm going to do now is use nano editor, so nano, and we are going to create a new file called test.php. So if I hit return, this will open the file in the editor. And what I want to do here is start with the opening PHP tag. I want to basically verify that this Imagick has been installed successfully. So what I want to do is echo, and then I'm going to use extension underscore loaded, and in between the brackets and single quotes, Imagick is the name of this extension. Then closing a single quote and bracket, then and we also check in whether the class exists. So class exists function, PHP function, and the name of the class is I with a capital I, Magick. There we go. So if both of these conditions return true, then what I want to do after the question mark, simply echo yes. Otherwise, so colon, I want to echo no. And what I want to do at the end is just do comma, because obviously we're using echo statement here, which accepts commas for two separate arguments. You can also use obviously full stop to concatenate it. And I'm going to basically use PHP underscore EOL PHP constant to make sure that this line, basically the output is on its own line rather than having the prompt right after this. Okay, so that's all I want within this test.php file. Control X to exit, Y on the keyboard. Yes, we want to save the changes, and that's the name of the file, test.php. So hit return, and that's done. Now what I want to do is to call PHP parser, and the file we want to pass it through as an argument is test.php, hit return, and we get yes, which means obviously Imagick extension and a class have been installed successfully. Let's now remove the file because we don't need this test.php. It was just to verify that the installation was successful. So rm-f test.php. ls, and the file is gone, so that's okay. Let's now do exit. We are going to first log out from this sudo, from this root user, but we still connected to the Homestead. As you can see, we are now connected as Vagrant. We went back to the original login, and now if you do exit again, that will disconnect us from the Homestead. We can do Command K to clear the screen and move to the next video.